This year is a huge season for Renault in Formula One. It's slipped to fourth in the engine pecking order, you could argue, and its team, its main focal point, the reason it's really in Formula One, is coming off the back of a very disappointing 2019, where rather than moving closer to the top teams, it lost its title as best of the rest. Welcome to the race. I've got Mark Hughes and Ed Straw here with me to discuss what to expect from Renault in 2020 and what concerns they could have for 2021 and the long-term future if this year doesn't go very well. Mark, no question, as I mentioned there, that Renault underachieved last year. It moved backwards. It can't do that again this season, but how much pressure is there on the team, not just to redress that balance, but to, if anything, make up for the mistakes of last year as well?
There's enormous pressure on the team from the parent company. The parent company is doing a review of all its operations. The finance director has already said it's not a given that we will continue in Formula One post-2020. So it has to be of value, it has to be seen to be of value from a corporate point of view. And this is the crucial season because you get the feeling that a performance like last year's wouldn't do it. It wouldn't tick the box. So yeah, enormous pressure on the team principal, Cyril Beatbull, and I think if he doesn't do it, they'll be looking for some musical instrument case to sneak him out of the building. Yeah.
Now, Ed, when Renault came back in 2016, we heard a lot about the long-term plan. I think 5 years was mentioned to get to the front. We're approaching year 5 now, and they're nowhere near the front at the moment. So has that plan gone out the window now, or is it just being revised constantly?
Well, they already effectively revised it. It was Bob Bell, the then technical director, who coined that, and he based that on historical progress in previous years. But Formula One has become ever more complicated. We also have to bear in mind that that team was in a hell of a state when they bought it. So I'm quite happy to count 2016 as year zero, because that was a massively underdeveloped car. That wasn't really a Renault. The takeover deal was very, very late, right at the end of 2015. So 2016 free pass for that. I think 2021 is an obvious landmark point in terms of the new regulations. They want to step forward, provided they sign up for 2021. Of course, I think the more important thing is last year was the first year when they regressed. They were actually fractionally closer to the pace on outright pace, but that doesn't really matter because it's all where you are on relative performance. So they can't afford to stay in the same place. They can't afford to regress. You can always write off that one bad year if you can recover from it. They did have a fundamental problem in terms of the approach they took to the concept of the car. They were really struggling with getting performance out of upgrades, particularly in the bargeboard area, which is under the current regulations a hugely influential area. So if they've understood what they've done wrong and they were able to apply the massive brain power, facilities, and really use what they've got in that team. They put a lot of money into it, into building it up in terms of people, personnel, facilities, everything. That provided they've got the structures right and the understanding, they should be able to take a good step forward. But they need to make big progress towards what their original target for last year was, which was to finish fourth, but a stronger fourth. But it's a big ask. McLaren are strong, Racing Point are on the up. We've seen Toro Rosso having its strongest season in a long time last year. So there's some serious opposition there in F1's midfield. So it is really not going to be easy. They need to do a good job with this year's car, with developing it, with racing it, with reliability, and just be an all-round better team than they were last season.
Mark, we've touched on 2021 quite a bit there already. Ed's saying they've got to get back to being fourth. Is that going to be enough in 2020 to convince the parent company that they should stick around for 21, which is supposed to be the opportunity for those midfield teams to get in amongst it with the leaders?
Yeah, if they start in fourth, a second off the pace, and end the season in fourth, a second off the pace, that's not really probably what they're going to be looking for. If they can show that they are nibbling away at that gap, and if what's coming out of the numbers for the 2021 car under the new regulations is suggesting, a potential Grand Prix winning car, then maybe but it's going to need to be that, I feel. I really feel that they're going to be quite ruthless. The parent company is going to be quite ruthless with any underperformance.
And you could argue that because they've spent so much money on it, they'll want to reap the rewards of that. But there's a fine line between being confident and pressing on with a project that's working and falling for the sunk cost fallacy and throwing good money after bad. So that's where the pressure is on that team. There is the raw materials there, but they've got to show they've got the leadership and the organisational ability to harness it. But it's a hugely complicated political landscape with what's going on with the parent company, with what's going on with Formula One as a whole, because they have not signed up for 2021. It's literally they have to agree
nobody has
to
yet.
sign a deal. Exactly. So this is the perfect time. And if Renault's to continue, they will be thinking, well, actually, if we continue in 21, that's effectively, it has to be a multi-year commitment. So it's not just do we carry on for one more year, it's do we carry on for 5 more years, and all of the cost that's associated with that, which is exactly as Mark says. They've really got to prove that this trajectory is correct, and that means start well, get better.